This week is kind of funky. Yesterday was a regular day. It was just a Monday. We got back into the swing of things. We don't have too much time left. We have 14 more days or something, 15 more days, 15 more school days. And today is actually a testing day. So today we are doing our both reading and math screener, our end of the year screener to see how students have done. For people that have asked before, we use MClass for reading and AimsWeb for math. And the way we have done it this year is where we decided to just do one day per classroom instead of kind of spreading it out. So it's a long day in the class, but that way it's just done. So some of the reading interventionists, some of the specialists will come in for math and literacy, and they will help run the assessments, and I will do a couple on my own as well. So I'm going to show you what the slides look like to kind of show you how we manage that, because it is a lot of independent time for our students, which can be difficult, but there's a lot of kind of breaks built in. So let me show you what it looks like. I just pulled the slides up, but it's going to be 80 degrees today, which is wonderful, but that's also pretty hot in my room. So I'm trying to wear something light and breathable for today. All right, let me show you the slides so you can see kind of how I set it up for the day to best try to give us success for the day. We have our regular slides in the morning where they'll pick lunch, do morning meeting. I do say, so I let them know today we're going to do a show what we know. As students are working around the room, we're looking for respectful, independent work. What does independent mean, and what should our volume sound like? And then for Tell Me Tuesday, I basically have some examples of things that they're going to be doing today. Things that we've already done a million times, but just to kind of get their head into it. So tell me if these words are real or nonsense. They have to blend the word together and then tell me if it's real or nonsense. And then tell me comparing the two numbers, which is the greatest number in each box. Then we have calendar, and we head into our first section. So basically each section of the day, I will have a paper and pencil option that they'll do, and I'll grab one of my blue buckets back there. And it has a worksheet, something that they'll do independently. And then when they're done with this, they will go ahead and put on their headphones, and they will do this seesaw activity and epic. Now, since 9 to 9:30 is normally phonics time, I try to keep it in the phonics realm. Here we have some, there's actually 2 pages of this stapled together, but we have just an R-controlled vowel sort, and then here they are decoding words that have AI and AY and putting them in the right spot. And then going to epic. And then we have snack and recess, which is regular. Here is normally actually our reading time, but I wanted to make sure we do a little extra practice on math. We're missing math a lot this week because we have a field trip coming up on Thursday and a half day on Friday. So we are practicing counting coins. They'll do that first, and then they can actually go to some math IXL games. I start a couple money things in here that they'll do first, and then they can go to games. In the next section, they are going to do, so from 10:30 to 11, I then switch it over, and they can just do this quick little math sheet with addition. Is it just addition? Yeah, addition, their near doubles facts, and then they can go to Moose Math, which is just a fun one. And then from 11 to 11:30, they play Roll, Read, and Find. They'll do this themselves at their seats, where they just roll the dice and they have to read one of the words and color it in, and they keep going until they've colored in every picture. And these ones are with EE and EA. And then they can do Kings and Queens. So 2 kind of fun options before we head to lunch and recess. Then for math time, math is 45 minutes, so I have 3 sections. Double-digit subtraction they'll do first, then a little seesaw place value activity, and then when they're done, it's how to draw a road trip. It's just a new Art for Kids Hub video over there that they can just draw and have fun. Some kids won't get to this yet, and this is just going to be a fun thing, so I want to make sure that when they come back from specials, they can finish, I'll let them know that they can finish their picture that they were drawing before, and then they can go read the Jelly Donut Difference and fill out my favorite donut activity, and then it's basically just free choice till the end of the day. It is certainly not ideal to have them sitting all day long, but I do actually like this option better and just getting it, boom, banging it all out, getting all done in one day. If there's any kids left over, we know who has to make it up, instead of just spreading it out and doing a little bit, over the weeks. So we also talked about how it provides a much truer data point, especially thinking about the beginning of the year. If we had students we have six first grade sections And so if we did some students, that first or second week of September, and then the other first grade students weren't getting their assessment until the end of September, that's like 3 weeks of valuable instruction that they're getting when you're trying to compare them to one another and kind of see how they're doing. So this makes it much easier. They do 2 classes today, they did 2 yesterday, and they did 2 last week. So all within 1 week, all the first grade students are getting tested. We also did this adorable craft yesterday. It's going to be our last bulletin board because the bulletin board I have out there is still, which do you prefer, cats or dogs? So we're going to change that up, but this is what it looks like. I covered up her name. Basically, they colored a picture of the hands and the little camera, and then they picked out what they looked like. There were a bunch of different options, colored it to match themselves, and then when you flip the camera down, it says this year went by in a snap. And then we could see something they learned. Here she is counting to 100, and she's saying, yay, I did it. A picture of her and her friends, and then a great memory that she's had so far this year. So every kid did this. I'm going to go ahead and put it up on the bulletin board today to make it look a little fun and cute for the end of the year. So I'm going to do that later. Good morning, happy Wednesday. It's going to be about 90 degrees today, so I already have the fan blowing and trying to cool down this classroom. By lunchtime, it's going to be a disaster. But either way, I thought I would pop in this morning. Yesterday's testing went great. It was a long day, but my kids did a great job, both being independent and with their actual scores. They've made so much growth, and it was so happy to see. I know during winter time it can sometimes be, or at least I felt this way, I guess. It can be stressful being like, oh my gosh, are we gonna get there? And then by spring, it all clicks and students just made so much growth, which was very happy to see. Next week, I think I told you this, we will have our day-to-day where we sit down and talk about not just class-wide data, but also grade-wide data and kind of prepare for next year. There's a bug in here. Oh, also before I go into what we are teaching today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the literacy committee meeting last night. We did our debrief on benchmark, and we also talked about a few other things, but one of the main things we did is next week we are voting on the 2 that we are going to pilot, but we kind of just took a quick little feeler and see how we are feeling about them right now, and it's pretty clear that one of the ones we're going to pilot is HMH into reading with the new structured literacy component. So that definitely seems like it will be a pilot, and then we're going to look for probably another one's going to be like a knowledge building curriculum, which is different than into reading. So right now the votes are kind of spread over Wit and Wisdom, Benchmark, Advance, or no, Wit and Wisdom, I think it was EL education maybe. Oh gosh, now I have to look and see, I don't even remember. And CKLA. So those were the 3, and votes were kind of spread across, so we don't really have a clear consensus. We also didn't get a chance to share our site visits yet. So depending on what everybody shares about the pros and cons and what they saw of teachers and students actually using it in schools, might kind of sway the decision there. So we shall see, but that seems like definitely one we are doing for a pilot. So I wanted to give you a little update on that. For today, since yesterday was a testing day, it was a funky day, we are back into a regular schedule today, and tomorrow is our field trip. So this is like 2 regularly scheduled days. That's what happens at the end of the year. We are, I told you, doing money. So I wanted to just share a couple of the activities we have been doing and will be doing to help students identify coins and count coins. So let's take a look. All right, so of course, we have our math warm-up. These are going to basically be what my math warm-ups look like for the rest of the year. I really want to focus on those addition and subtraction strategies as well as decomposing. So an addition and subtraction one. And then I've also been doing a bunch of these. This is where we have like the start unknown for word problems. So I said there's some cookies on the dish. My mom makes 20 more cookies, puts them on a dish. Now there are 20. So how many were on the dish to start? So I've just been kind of doing different unknown parts, and we talk about what it looks like. So we would have like question mark plus 12 equals 20, and then we talk about how we solved it. And then we go right into coins. So we're gonna name and tell the value of each of these different coins. And then I have them do a quick counting practice, look at the coins, how much is this all worth? I ask how they counted it and how we write it. And I show them how to write it with the cent symbol, and I also show them how to write it with the dollar symbol. So like $, 0, point, whatever, amount this is. And then what I did yesterday is I really just had them sort and graph. So this is from my money unit, my hands-on money unit, little piggy banks up there. So they cut those out, and then I gave them a container of coins, which I'll show you in a minute. And then they just had to sort them by type first and graph them. And then when they were done with that, I challenged them to find the value of each of the columns. So they practiced counting like that. And then for some of my groups, if they finished early, I also had them find the entire value of their entire sheet, which was fun. These are the coins over here. I think I told you we started with just penny, dime, and nickel, and then we went up to quarters. So everybody just got a different container with a partner to sort and then graph and count. When they finished that, they went into independent practice where they had to count up the money and write the value on the line. This was good practice for them because a lot of them would think these are different coins. And so I had them actually keep those little containers over there on their desk so they could check the fronts and back. So these are all nickels. This was not a quarter and 2 nickels. So they were a little confused, but once they figured it out, that was good practice. All right, so hopping ahead to today's slides, we're gonna do the same thing with our warm-up. This one, instead of start unknown, we have change unknown. So we started with 12 rabbits in the yard, some hop away, and now there are 3. How many rabbits hopped away? So here we have a subtraction one, but the change is the part we don't know. So we'll talk about that difference and solve that today. Back to our review of coins. Here we're going to do a little practice. This is from Math and Focus. Tristan wants to buy a pencil. The pencil costs 55 cents, and it will just show a couple different ways we can do it. And then with those bins again, I'll pass them out to each pair at their seats, and they're gonna show 2 different ways to pay for this banana and 2 different ways to pay for this lime. And then we'll talk about the ways that we had and record it on the board. And then we're gonna do a quick identification one. This is from my money game pack that I have. We have a couple different money games we're gonna play throughout the week and throughout next week. So they're just gonna spin one here, dime, penny, nickel, and quarter. We'll go over those first. And then I have different ways of showing the values. So here obviously is not a penny, but it just says 1 cent. We have 10 cents, quarter, 25 cents. I show all the different ways to identify it. So that way they can just spin and cover. I'll probably actually have them color it in and take this one home. And then if we have time, they'll go to their practice book for Math and Focus and do that. One last mini game that we are playing this week, even though it's a short, funky week. This is all messed up, but this is also from my print and play money games. It's roll and count. So all they'll have to do is roll a number down at the bottom, and then they will count up the value of each one and write it in the box and color in that box and continue playing until an entire column is colored in. This is sheet A, and all the coins are the same in each box. Sheet B has mixed coins, so we'll move on to that next week. All right, that's that for money. Let me do a couple things around the classroom, and then I will check in and tell you what we're doing in other subject areas this week. All right, I turned off the lights and I'm sitting just in front of the fan. What we are doing in our genre study, which is like our reading time, is we kind of, our problem this year has been math, meaning we haven't been able to get to the end of where we needed to be in math so far this year due to all the half days and just some other things that come up. So our genre study, which we have in the morning, which is our like reading comprehension time, we feel we're ahead of the game. So we're finished with those units, and instead I've just been implementing a bunch of the book bunches that I created this year. So we're just talking about like vocabulary and different comprehension questions, diving into sentence structure around these books. So today we're reading Hoot and Peep by Lita Judge, and we're gonna go over some vocabulary. So these are the cards that are in the book bunch unit, but we have wisdom, ancient, and I don't know why I'm trying to do this in front of a fan, imparting. So all of those are words in the book. I'm going to teach them. I'm going to front load that information first, define the words, talk about them, give some examples, some non-examples, and then we will listen to the book and point out when we hear those words. After that, I will have students go into their Foundations writing journal, and they're going to pick one of those words and write a sentence with it, just to kind of show that they understand what it means with a matching picture. So that is really what we're doing in genre study today. The rest of the week, of course, like I said, we had testing yesterday and we have field trip tomorrow. So really just on Friday, we're actually going to catch up on some of our math. We still need to teach measurement and graphing, which are, if you're a first grade teacher, you know, are pretty simple. For measurement, they just need to be able to know how to measure something accurately, starting from the beginning, and it's non-standard measurement. And then graphing as well, they need to be able to categorize things and kind of compare and contrast the data to read what it says. So pretty simple ones that we should be able to do. I don't have exactly the lessons that we're doing with that just yet. I will have those soon and I can share with you what they are, but some pretty fun, simple activities. Actually, because we're going to the zoo, one of the graphing ones and data ones we might do is do a little check sheet and collection of everybody's favorite exhibit that they visited, and we can kind of make a graph of that and then talk about that too, just as like a kickoff one. Oh, and one of my teammates had the best idea for money. It was so cute. Since we are nearing summer, what we're going to do is we are going to print out a bunch of paper decodable texts, and we're going to make a little bookstore in our classroom. And so we'll have them kind of spread out around the room, and they'll have different like coin amounts on them. And so they can come grab like 3 or 4 books. I'll help guide them to make sure the books are appropriate for them to read for summer. They can put it in a little shopping bag, and then they have to add up the money and use the coins to actually buy the books from like me. So what I would do during that time is I'd probably have them do some sort of independent or partner activity, and then I'd call up like 2 or 3 students at a time, let them buy some books, go shopping, and then they can purchase their books and take them home for the summer. But she had that idea and it was so cute. I'm definitely going to use that probably next week as we wrap up our money unit, but too cute, had to share it. We are also in writing ahead of the game since we mostly focused on that research project when we came back from April vacation. So we are pretty much done with our informative writing. I have one more today that I'm going to do where we kind of learn about a topic, and then I ask students to just share 2 facts they learned, but through a paragraph. So I need a topic sentence, 2 facts that they can share, and then a closing sentence. And that's going to kind of be my assessment to see if they are able to do that. And that's the information I'm going to use for our report cards. Just because the informative research book that we made was great, but it was very lengthy, very involved, and also had a lot of kind of teacher hands on it. So it's not necessarily a true, accurate representation of what they can do entirely on their own. So I want to kind of compare and contrast those to get an accurate grade for their report card. And the last thing I wanted to share with you, because next week is only a 4-day week, we have Memorial Day, and I told you I have day-to-day. And then after that is the last full week in June, and that is when we are going to start our kind of fun themed days. Now I am so excited about this because this is something I did years ago when I was in the classroom, but usually like the last 5 days of school, I like to have a countdown to summer, not like the balloons or anything, but just themed days. So this is the unit, it looks like this up here, and basically every single day has a theme. So camping theme, friendship, ice cream, sports day, memories, and there's one more. No, I already said sports day. I said camping. There's one more. There's 6. But anyway, it has basically, it's an entire day of first grade review skills, and you can make it as hands-on as you want or as just print and play as you want, because there's options for everything. So there's read alouds, comprehension, vocabulary. There are print and play phonics games in there that's with skills students should know. There are craft ideas if you wanted to. There's something for science and social studies if you wanted to. It is just a whole bunch of fun. So we're going to do that the last full week in June, and then basically we're done. We have 2.5 days the following week, and it'll be mostly field day, cleaning up, getting ready for summer. I cannot believe how fast this year has just flown by. So this will probably be my last week sharing like a week in the life or a couple days in the life with giving updates. I think next week, because I am going to start organizing, I'm staring at my whole back counter there. I'll put a little video of what I'm looking at here. I need to organize that entire area, and I have a bunch of bins already ready to go. So I think in my next video, I'm going to take you along and do that kind of with you and show you what I'm thinking for next year. A little organize my classroom and get ready for summer with me. But yeah, as always, any questions, please don't give me a thumbs up. Please let me know down in the comments. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel and click that bell. That way you're notified of every new video. See you in the next one. Bye.